Hi guys, Chevy Rell here. I was getting my notes around to do my haul video for the Michigan Fiber Festival that was in Allegan, Michigan last weekend. Y'all have heard me talk about that. It dawned on me that I received a handful of you who have never been to a fiber festival before. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Everybody should at least go to one fiber festival. All fiber lovers should go to at least one fiber festival. I was going to add some tips for fiber festival attending in that video, and as I was typing them out, I thought, why not make it a completely separate video? I have a little co-host down here, Miss Olive, with her pink elephant. This will probably be a fairly short video, but it is for all of you who A, have never been to a fiber festival before and need some tips for your first one, or B, those of you who maybe have not been to a festival in a long time. First off, there is a list, I found this many years ago, of all the fiber festivals around. I'm talking in the world. There are many lists, but the best list that I have found is by Knitter's Review, and I will link that list in the show notes. What I do is I just peruse through it and check out the states, and anything in Indiana, Michigan, or Ohio kind of like piques my fancy. You might find some, for those of you who have never been to one, in your area just by looking at that list. And they do update it every year. It's the sort of the encyclopedia of fiber festivals, if you will. Side note, gotta say what I'm drinking today. Having a little Gumball Head by Three Floyds. Hitting your first festival. I like to do my homework before I go so that I know sort of what to expect. Of course, you're not always going to know exactly what to expect unless you've been there before, but these tips and tricks that I will be sharing will at least give you a good start. Some people may say that they're a little overkill, but I would rather be safe than sorry. That's only because I've been burnt. No pun intended, because you know sunscreen's on this list. My vampiric skin and the sun. I have been burnt in the past by not being prepared. So hopefully you will learn from my lessons that I've learned the hard way. Number one, I take my own shopping bag. I take a large over-the-shoulder bag. The reason that this is nice is you're not holding multiple bags, as well as using the vendor's bags. So you can save those bags for people who don't have their own shopping bag. I also like that all of my haul is in the same, why are we crying? Why are we crying? Play with your elephant, your elephant. Olive made her Ravelry debut today with her sock pattern, didn't you? Where was I? One of the reasons that I like it is because my entire haul is then in one bag. I don't have multiple bags all around, so I don't lose any of my precious wares. Number two, water. Water. A bottle of water. So many times I've done this to myself. I did it at Allegan. Why do I not have a bottle of water? And the reason is because I'm a talker, I'm guessing. I know this surprises you so much. I feel like I get parched because I talk so much. Like if I was a quiet shopper and just milled about my business, maybe I wouldn't need the water. But every time, I say it every time, why do I not have a bottle of water? So take a water, you get parched. Dang it. Number three, as mentioned before, sunscreen. Depending, of course, what time of year it is and where the fiber festival is, you will benefit from some sunscreen. Examples: Black Swamp Fiber Festival is in Bowling Green, Ohio in March, and everything is in a fair building. You won't be in the sun. I don't take sunscreen to that festival. Allegan, it's in August. There are many vendors that are located outside. Yellow Springs is in September. Yellow Springs.
Sorry.
There's a fly in here, and let me just tell you, when I'm done recording, it's going to die. Sorry for that interruption. Yellow Springs is in September. It's Yellow Springs, Ohio. While the majority of the vendors are in tents, a lot of the vendors are outside. Now the vendors are under, you know, their pop-ups, but I wear sunscreen to that one. Number 4, walk-in shoes. There are lots of steps. While I'm not wearing it now, I do have a Fitbit Blaze. Not that I pay all that much attention to it, but I will tell you that I always hit my 10,000 steps at festivals. You do a lot of walking. You will walk a lot. Number 5, cash money. There are multiple reasons to have cash money. Some of these festivals you have to pay to get in. There is Ann Arbor, Michigan coming up, that festival. I believe I saw that it was $6 to get in. The Black Swamp Festival in March, I believe they just do like $1. You of course will know how much it will be because you're going to be researching prior to going. You'll know how much it's going to be to get in the door, so it's always good to have cash. Another reason to have cash is you never know what the internet connection is going to be like at a festival. I've been to many festivals where those metal barns get squat for reception and the poor vendors are having to like go outside to get reception. I did go to a fiber festival many years ago now up in Charlevoix, Michigan, and Michigan, especially at the higher up you get, does not have great reception. So they were really struggling, they as in the vendors. It's nice to have cash because then you don't have to worry about it. Plus, cash is faster a lot of times than a card because it just moves the line along. You're not having to wait for somebody, you know, you're not having to wait for the Wi-Fi to run the credit card. Number 6, do your research before you leave the house. I get on their website. Most all fiber festivals will have a vendors list. People, I stalk the vendors. I look up their websites, I look up what they sell, I look at their Instagram pages. Now, a lot of the people do not have Instagram pages, but there are plenty of vendors that you can stalk on social media and have a list before you go of what you'd like to look at.
Ugh, fucking fly. Urgh. I'm gonna kill it. I don't know how, but I'm gonna. We have this whole house. Why is this fly in front of my face?
Last but not least, number 7, have a plan. Don't go all willy-nilly, and I'll tell you why. Not only will your pocketbook thank you, but if you especially never been to a fiber festival before, you're gonna get there, you guys, it is like Santa Claus coming for little kids. Shit, you not. You get in there, it is so, like you're high on yarn fumes. You're so excited because it's like a mecca for us. You're surrounded by all your people and all your wool and stuff, and you're so excited and you want to buy it all. If you go in with a plan, it's way less overwhelming. If you don't have a plan, you don't really know where to start. Now, I'm not saying that everything's going to be etched in stone on your plan, but it will at least give you a good place to start your trip. This is what I do for my trip as far as a plan goes. I, of course, already mentioned I stalk the vendors and I write down any of the vendors that I absolutely know I want to see their booths. 2, I always do a loop. Don't buy anything unless you know, like unless you 100% know I am not leaving that fiber festival without this skein of yada yada from that vendor. Then buy it because you don't want to chance it being gone. But if you're like, and don't really know, do a loop. You do a loop first and then you buy. Because that way you've seen everything, you know exactly what it is that you're going for. It's so much easier. You might take something off your original list and replace it with something else that you see there. So you never know what can happen. Money, right? Fiber festivals cost money. Well, for some of us. I do have to say, I stalk the hashtags of these fiber festivals, and I'm always amazed at the people who go in and buy 2 skeins. Like, I wouldn't go. That sounds so shitty, but I wouldn't go. I don't know if I could get out of a fiber festival with 2 skeins. I save for these people. Like, I plan way ahead and I save and I budget for fiber festivals. I do 2 things. If I go with a credit card, I always have a little bit of cash. But there are times that I only go with a credit card and I know exactly what I'm getting. Whether that be, I want this skein with this colorway from this vendor. I'm on the lookout for a sweater's quantity for this pattern. I'm gonna get a shawl's worth for this pattern, you know, knowing what you're doing. So then you know about what you're gonna put on your credit card because you're like, okay, so that's 2 sweaters quantities and a shawl. And then maybe a little something extra. The other way to do it, which is what I did at Allegan, I did not have any specific patterns that I was buying for. When I first started knitting, I had no idea. If you would have told me that I was going to have a stash, I would not have believed you. I just didn't think that would be in, like, I just didn't think I'd do that. When I first started attending fiber festivals, that's when I started growing my stash, was from fiber festivals, not from yarn shops. And I would buy a skein here, a skein there, a skein here, because I didn't know about the plan. I didn't know, like, I want to buy yarn to knit this pattern or stalking vendors and liking their stuff. I just went in willy-nilly. Now I had a budget, but I went in willy-nilly and just, I bought 1 skein here and 1 skein here and 1 skein here. So when I first built my stash, it was all just 1 skeiners. Well, that was way long before fades and 3-color shawls and all that stuff. So I had all these 1 skeiners that it's like, okay, well, I can knit some socks with it or a hat. I didn't have any big project skeins. Then I sort of changed my outlook on things. And that's when I started planning for garments or for finished products over just buying skeins that I thought were pretty. Well, now I've been doing that for so long that I have plenty of projects that I need to knit. So when I went to Allegan, I was back to wanting to just buy cool skeins that I liked. And of course, accessories, because I love accessory tools. I love that. For Allegan, I went with a cash budget. I have X amount of dollars to spend, and if I want it, I'm gonna buy it. So that's what I did. The other thing that I will do is I will like something and I will pass it by. Like I said, you do your loop, right? If it's something that I keep thinking about and keep thinking about and keep thinking about, I buy it. Because I know I'm gonna be mad at myself that I didn't when I got home. So I add that to my list. I guess the final thing that I can say about attending fiber festivals is it's not just for the shopping. It is the camaraderie of our people. It is seriously our Mecca. Just, you're in this spot where, I mean, I don't know about you, but I have friends that I talk knitting to and it sounds like a foreign language and I can totally tell that I'm Charlie Brown's teacher. It's like you go someplace and all these people speak your language. You make friends, you learn things, ask questions if you don't know. Everybody is so excited and helpful and want you to learn. So it's a great place to go to get better at our crafts and learn new things and meet new friends and meet new vendors that you love and help out makers. While I do shop at yarn shops, of course, there's something about a fiber festival and being able to chat with small makers that dye batches of yarn in their kitchen and do it because they love it and for the art of it. There are few times within their selling world that they get to meet their customers one-on-one, so they enjoy vending at festivals just as much as you enjoy shopping at them. At least I believe for most of them. Obviously there are probably some who are a little more introvert and probably get major anxiety over fiber festivals, but everybody is super friendly, and to see everyone's art in person and to touch it, and it's just awesome. So if you have not been to a fiber festival, I would highly encourage you to check out the link below and stalk some fiber festivals that are in your neck of the woods. If I've forgotten any tips or did not mention any tips that you think should be on the list, please, please, please comment below. I would love to learn what you guys do to prepare for fiber festivals. If you don't have any tips, still check out the comments below because there will be others, I'm sure. I do have to say, attention vendors, for all of you who are watching this, when I say that I stalk social media for you at festivals, I also stalk your social media the night before and during the festival. I will tell you, gonna give Star Knit some love. She did great. For the Allegan, for the Michigan Fiber Festival, she posted a picture of her booth on Instagram, and then during the booth, like before her booth started, I think it was Saturday morning, it might have been Friday morning, before one of the vending days, she did an Instagram story where she toured her booth. I think that as shoppers, some of us are scared to actually go into a booth and poke around. A lot of times we'll look at them from the outside and might not walk all the way in. It's super cool when vendors give you a tour of their booth because, for instance, Star Knits sews awesome bags. And when you look at her booth, that's what you mainly see are her bags, which are awesome, but I didn't need any bags. I wasn't on the hunt for bags at Allegan. I have a ton of project bags right now, and I've actually just gotten a few new ones that I feel like I've barely used, so I was not going to buy a project bag. In her booth tour, she showed these crochet hooks that she made handles, like made.
I'll just show you.
I'm just gonna give you a little preview of my haul because it makes more sense. I think it's Alena, A-L-L-E-N-A, is the owner of Star Knits, and she, on her booth tour, went in the back and she had these. Is that not awesome? Had she not done the booth tour, I never would have gone in that booth. Only because I didn't want a bag, and in my brain, it looked like bags. So, you know, the booth tour is what enabled me to get this awesomeness. You guys, it looks like candy. I mean, can you see that? Oh. For vendors, learn from Alena. Star Knits, It'll be in my Allegan video, which Dan and I are recording tomorrow. Yes, folks, you heard it here. Dan is going to be in the Allegan video. Okay, folks, that's it. I hope that you found this video helpful. I look super forward to reading your comments, other people's tips for attending fiber festivals. And I also want to hear when you guys go to your first fiber festival and what you think about it. Tag me in your pictures. I'd love to see your hauls. And until next time, later.